We got married right after college, barely had the caps off before we signed the papers. I gave up everything to support her dream of becoming an actress. Everyone warned me not to, said I was crazy to quit my job. But I did it anyway. Became a full-time stay-at-home dad so she could chase the spotlight. 10 years later, she finally made it. She's famous now. And never alone. Always has that assistant trailing behind her like a shadow. Olivia had a last-minute thing come up. She won't be able to make it to the parent-teacher conference, sorry about that. The guy standing in front of me is Jason, her assistant. He says, sorry, like it's a formality, like it doesn't cost him anything. His face doesn't show even a hint of guilt. Through the school fence, I can see Olivia clear as day. She's sitting in the passenger seat of that bright red Ferrari parked right outside the school. She's right there. But she won't come in, not even to show up for her daughter's conference. She won't even get out of the car to speak to me directly. Jason notices me watching her and, like always, jumps in to smooth things over. Olivia's schedule is packed, he says, polite and practiced. This might be her only chance to rest today. She's got another event coming up, so try to understand. Don't start another fight over something this small. Something this small? From the day Lily started first grade at 6 years old to now, third grade, 9 years old, Olivia hasn't shown up to a single parent-teacher meeting. Not one. Back when she was still a nobody, she told me she had to seize every chance to be seen, to build momentum. She'd wrap her arms around my neck and whisper in my ear, once I make it, things will be different. We'll have choices. But the more famous she's become, the more she's disappeared. More ad campaigns. More appearances. More excuses. It's been over 6 months since I last saw her more than a couple times. And every time I bring it up, she says the same thing, things will get better soon. But when? I honestly don't know what soon means to her anymore. I turned and fixed my eyes on the young guy standing in front of me. She's your boss. The least you can do is call her Ms. Hayes with some respect. And as for what goes on between us, that's none of your business. He couldn't have been more than 20, 21 at most, still green around the edges. The moment I called him out in public, his eyes started to well up, like a kid about to cry. I honestly had no idea why Olivia let go of Rosa, her experienced assistant, only to bring in this wide-eyed rookie. If he crumbles just because I raise my voice, how the hell is he supposed to handle the business world at her side? He spun around in anger, storming toward the school gate, but then he stopped, turned back, and called out to me with a shaky kind of defiance. Mr. Carter. Ms. Hayes deals with a lot of anxiety. If you can't be there for her emotionally, fine. But don't keep tearing her down. I'm only saying this as someone on the outside, try to show her more care. Maybe he was afraid I'd snap at him again, because before I could even open my mouth, he bolted, half running, straight back to the Ferrari. I pulled out my phone and shot Olivia a text, don't ever send that kid to talk to me again. He annoys the hell out of me. I didn't bother calling. I knew she wouldn't pick up. Even now, when she wasn't filming, just sitting in the car pretending to rest, she still wouldn't answer. Mom's not coming again, is she? Lily's voice broke me. She looked up at me with her big eyes brimming with disappointment. She squeezed my hand, her lips trembling, her tears refusing to stay hidden. All my classmates laugh at me. They say I'm the kid whose mom doesn't want her. Kids today grow up too fast. 3 years of elementary school, first, second, third grade, and not once has Olivia shown her face. Naturally, the other kids whisper. Children don't sugarcoat things. Their words might be innocent, but they cut deep. All I could do was pat Lily gently on the head. Mom's just busy with work, sweetheart. It's not that she doesn't want you. But Lily shoved my hand away, her face twisted in frustration. You're lying, she snapped. My classmate's mom runs a company, and she still comes to every parent-teacher meeting. She reached into the pocket of my coat and pulled out my phone, holding it out like a demand. Tell her now. Say if she doesn't show up, I don't want her to be my mom anymore. I had no choice but to open up the chat thread with Olivia again. The screen filled with blue speech bubbles. One after another, messages I had sent. Not a single gray one in return. She used to at least toss me a half-hearted, yeah, or, okay, when she was busy. Now? Not even that. Faced with Lily's relentless pleading, I let out a long breath and typed another message. She really wants to see you. Please, just come by if you can. I stared at those words. When had this become my tone with her, so formal, so distant? It was something I might send to a colleague, not my wife. This was her responsibility as a mother. But the way I wrote it, it sounded like I was begging her for a favor. Like I was overstepping by even asking. We weren't husband and wife anymore, not really. More like strangers. No, worse. We were the kind of strangers who used to know everything about each other. The kind who could still share a bed but feel separated by a wall that neither of us had the strength, or maybe the desire, to climb anymore. But it hadn't always been like this. We met back in high school. We used to blow through our monthly texting limits like it was nothing. Everything felt worth sharing. If I saw wildflowers blooming on the side of the road, I'd text her. If a teacher changed their hairstyle, she'd be the first to know. Even though we saw each other every single day at school, we'd still spend our breaks side by side, our phones buzzing with messages like we'd been apart for weeks. And she'd always reply, fast. No matter how pointless the topic, she'd jump right in and carry the conversation like it meant the world. Be honest, she used to ask me, her eyes gleaming with mischief. What's prettier, the flowers, or me? And then she'd follow it up with, do you think you'll go bald one day? It's okay if you do. Even if you go completely bald, I'll still love you. Back in college, everyone around us called us the perfect couple. Not because we never fought, we did. But we never let a fight go unresolved. No matter how late it got, we'd stay up talking, picking the problem apart until we could see all its pieces. And then we'd promise, truly promise, not to make the same mistake again. If this were still those days, when we were still wrapped in the warmth of that early love, I might have joked with her about today. Olivia, you skipping Lily's conference, is it because you don't love me anymore? Is that it? You done with us? But now, I didn't dare ask. Because I was terrified she might just say, yes. Or worse, say nothing at all. The conference was halfway through when my phone finally lit up with a message. 3 words. I'll try. That's the thing about celebrities. They never speak in absolutes. She didn't say she'd come. Didn't say she wouldn't. She said she'd try. So if she shows up, she's kept her word. And if she doesn't, well, technically, she never promised. But Lily, sitting beside me, heard the buzz of my phone and turned to me with her eyes wide and sparkling. Is that Mommy? Is she here? Is she at the gate? I couldn't bring myself to crush that glimmer of hope. So I smiled gently, brushing her hair back. She's trying her best to come. Lily beamed. Her smile lit up her whole face, those little tiger teeth peeking out like they did when she was a toddler. Yay! I want to show Mommy my report card. I made the top 10 in class this time. Minute by minute, the time dragged on. I sent more texts. Called, twice. No response. No sign of her. Not a message. Not a shadow. Nothing. After the conference, I gently suggested we head home. It's freezing out here, baby. Let's go wait for Mommy at home, okay? But Lily lifted her chin, stubborn as ever. No. I'm staying right here. I want to see how long it takes her to remember we exist. I don't know where she gets that from, not from me. Once she makes up her mind, there's no moving her. She planted herself by the classroom door and refused to budge. Wouldn't even answer when I tried coaxing her out for dinner. I had no choice. Pulled out my phone and ordered KFC on Uber Eats. 15 minutes later, a delivery guy showed up at the school gate with a big brown bag. 1 kid's meal. 2 sodas. And a family-size fried chicken combo for me. We carried the bag over to a bench in the school garden. The scent of hot, crispy chicken drifted through the cold night air as we ate quietly under the stars, surrounded by damp grass and silence. Nearly midnight. That's when Olivia's Ferrari finally rolled in, headlights slicing through the dark. She stepped out of the car and spotted the discarded KFC boxes by the bench. Her expression twisted immediately. "Daniel, are you seriously feeding her junk like this? Do you even know what time it is? And it's freezing. Why didn't you make her go home? What if she gets sick?" No hello. Just a barrage of blame, as cold and sharp as the winter wind whipping across the parking lot. 9 years I've spent as a stay-at-home dad. 9 years. And not once have I heard her say thank you. Not once have I heard, "You're doing a great job." Only criticism. Only complaints. When Lily scores high on a test, she beams and says, "Must be my genes." When Lily makes a mistake, her face hardens and she turns to me. "You didn't raise her right." In her eyes, every strength Lily has is natural, passed down from her. Every flaw. My fault. Either inherited from me or shaped by my failure to parent. I dropped my gaze, swallowing the urge to argue. Not in front of Lily. Not again. But before I could say anything, Lily stepped forward. She flung her little arms wide and stood protectively in front of me, like a barrier I never asked for but needed more than anything. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but fury. "I wanted to wait for you. The fried chicken was Dad's, not mine. I kept begging for a bite and he wouldn't even let me have one. So don't just show up and act like he's the one doing everything wrong." If those words had come out of my mouth, Olivia probably would have snapped, slammed the car door, and driven off without a second glance. But thankfully, she's far gentler with Lily than she ever is with me. She knelt down in front of our daughter, her fingers brushing against Lily's cheeks, now flushed bright red from the cold. Okay. Mommy was wrong. Come on, let's get in the car, I brought you a gift." I followed them in. Only after I settled into the back seat did I realize Jason was still in the driver's seat. This was my first time in her Ferrari. My first time in any car this expensive, really. I sat stiffly, awkward and out of place, my eyes drifting around the interior. It was drenched in pink, Olivia's signature. Even the photo frame clipped to the steering wheel was pink. I squinted, trying to make out the picture. My vision's not great, but I could still see 2 people, heads leaning together in a pose I knew by heart. It used to be our pose, back when we were young and couldn't keep our hands off each other. My heart warmed, just a little. It was from our first trip to Disneyland, wasn't it? She still kept that photo. Right here, in plain sight. Maybe I'd been overthinking. Maybe there really was nothing between her and Jason. Why else would she leave a picture of us somewhere so obvious, right in front of him? Maybe she was trying to send him a message. Set a boundary. Let him know where he stood. Lily perked up beside me and reached forward. "I wanna see. Why am I not in the picture? Why didn't you take me too?" I laughed softly, ruffling her hair. "Silly girl. You weren't even born yet, how could we?" Then I saw the picture clearly. And I stopped. Dead silent. The woman in the photo was Olivia. But the man she was leaning against, the one cheek to cheek with her. Wasn't me. It was Jason. The air in the car turned to ice. The warmth from before vanished like it had never existed. Lily froze, her arms still reaching out, suspended in the space between hope and confusion. The girl who always had a smart comeback said nothing. Jason snatched the frame from her hand in a panic. This was, a candid shot. A coworker took it. I just thought I looked good in it, so I kept it. Olivia doesn't even know it's there. But the frame matched the car's interior. Same design. Same color scheme. And it sat front and center, impossible to miss, even for someone half-blind like me. Olivia drove this car every day. There's no way she didn't know. Lily picked up on the tension immediately. And, like the quick-thinking kid she is, she tried to steer us away from the wreckage. Lily forced a smile, the kind that cracked at the edges, and leaned against her mother's shoulder. "Mommy, where's my gift?" "Right here," Olivia said, rummaging through a bag labeled with her own name. After a moment, she pulled out a single lollipop. "Sweetheart, Mommy will really try her best to come next time." Lily slapped the lollipop out of her hand. Tears welled up in her eyes as her voice rose, trembling. "Do you even know what day it is today?" On a normal day, one lollipop could keep her smiling for hours. But today was her birthday. And what did she get? A half-used piece of fan merch, because that's what it was. The lollipop still had one of Olivia's promo stickers slapped across the wrapper, the kind fans hand her at events. If Olivia had taken a second to think, even a single breath to consider, she might have peeled the sticker off and passed it off as something she picked out herself. Hell, even a single goose feather, if given with love, would have meant more. But this wasn't love. This was indifference. She didn't even try to fake it. Lily's question caught Olivia off guard. She blinked, searching her memory. "Is it, the day my baby got first place on her test?" Lily had ranked 8th. I'd sent Olivia a photo of the report card days ago. She clearly never opened it. Anyone who'd glanced at it, just once, wouldn't have confused first place with 8th. Lily's face crumpled. And then the tears came. Big, silent drops that streamed down her cheeks like pearls slipping from a snapped string. "The kids were right," she sobbed. "Mommy doesn't love me at all." Watching her cry like that, heartbroken, gutted, made something twist inside me. I'd never asked Olivia for much. Never had unrealistic expectations. All I wanted was for Lily to feel safe. To feel wanted. To be happy. And yet, on her own birthday, she got hit again and again. First, her mother skipped her parent-teacher conference. Then, when she finally showed up at nearly midnight, she had nothing to offer but a leftover fan gift. She didn't even remember the date. If it had been me in Lily's shoes, I probably would have cried too. Jason's face fell. His expression tightened with a stiff, performative seriousness as he turned to scold my daughter. "Lily, your mom works so hard for you. You shouldn't be acting so unreasonable, okay?" I didn't expect him to understand what Lily was going through. But he had no right, none, to sit there and talk down to her like he was part of this family. I snapped. My voice boomed louder than I'd intended. Today is her birthday. Lily wants her mother to celebrate it with her. That's unreasonable to you? Who the hell do you think you are? Stay out of our family's business. I don't yell. Not often. But that one came from somewhere deep. Lily flinched, startled. Her big eyes blinked up at me, confused, scared, unsure. I softened immediately, placing a hand on her back. "Don't be afraid, sweetheart. Daddy's just trying to protect you." Jason looked stunned. Then, scrambling to recover, he blurted, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that." I turned away. You don't owe me an apology. Say it to Lily. He hesitated, then twisted in his seat. Tears were already falling down his face. Lily, I'm sorry. I care about your mom a lot. I said the wrong thing. Even Lily couldn't stomach his self-pity. She bit back, voice sharp despite the tears on her cheeks. My mom already has a family. She has a husband and a daughter who care about her. She doesn't need you. Enough. Olivia shouted. He's just my assistant. He already apologized. Why do you have to gang up on him like this? As if forgetting her daughter's birthday wasn't enough. Now, on Lily's own birthday, Olivia had the nerve to raise her voice at her. The moment cracked wide open. Lily's sobs burst out of her like a storm. She gasped between tears, barely able to breathe. I don't ever want to see that bad man again. And just like that, Jason, seeing his boss had his back, turned up the drama. With a shaky hand, he wiped his tears with the back of his wrist, then flung open the car door. If I'm such a problem, then I'll just leave. No need to see my face again. I'll go home. He ran off crying. And Olivia, she watched him go. Watched him like she actually cared. Only after his silhouette disappeared from the rearview mirror did she finally turn around to address our daughter. Sweetheart, Mommy didn't mean to yell at you. Please try to understand, Jason just graduated and he's trying to build a life in a big city. It's hard for him. Then, and only then, did she glance at me. Daniel, I should go find him. You know I don't drive. Of course. She'd pull the I can't drive card. But we both knew the truth. She wasn't going after him because she needed a ride. She wanted to go because it was Jason. Well, not tonight. I can drive, I said. I stepped out of the car, opened the driver's door, and slid into the seat. It had been a long time since we'd sat this close. Long enough that the silence between us felt almost foreign. For a moment, it didn't feel real, like I was watching someone else's life play out behind the wheel. I didn't even know anymore. Had she actually forgotten I had a driver's license? Did she think I wasn't worthy of driving her luxury car? Or was she just trying to chase after Jason? Whatever the reason, they all pointed to the same thing. In her eyes, I barely mattered anymore. Kids are easier to please at this age. After Olivia promised to buy Lily the newest iPad, she smiled again, then drifted off to sleep without another word. Meanwhile, Olivia sat beside me, glued to her phone, tapping away. God knows what she was looking at. We haven't really talked in a long time, I said quietly. After everything, after all the years, the silence, the bruised attempts at normal, I still wanted to give this marriage one last chance. She didn't even glance at me. Hang on, she said, eyes still on the screen. I'm ordering something. I caught a glimpse of it as she scrolled. A pair of swim trunks. What are you buying that for? I asked. You know I hate the water. It's not that I can't swim. I can. But after watching a friend nearly drown during freshman year of college, I haven't set foot in a pool since. She hesitated. Then closed the screen. A flicker of awkwardness crossed her face. They're for Jason, she said. We're filming a dating reality show together tomorrow. The sponsors want us to pretend we're a couple. Right. To the outside world, Olivia is single. Her social media is curated with surgical precision. Just enough mystery, just enough flirtation. Fans eat it up. Clips of her and Jason, those lingering glances, casual touches, go viral. She's the cold, elegant star. He's the soft, sweet assistant. It's the kind of contrast the internet loves. Power woman meets soft boy. Ice queen and golden retriever. Jason's fresh out of college, a good few years younger than her. Clean cut. Gentle. Polite. Everything the younger boyfriend fantasy calls for. They're seen together constantly, their interactions choreographed for the crowd. Witty banter, matching outfits, eye contact that feels just flirty enough. Their couple fanbase keeps growing. Of course the investors want to monetize it. It's not like Olivia and I haven't been photographed together before. There've been moments, school events, quick errands, park visits with Lily, when we've been caught on camera. But Olivia always had a stock explanation ready. Lily was her niece. And I, her older brother. She said it often enough, and so casually, that fans never questioned it. If anything, it just made the fantasy even juicier. Now they could ship the star and assistant pairing without guilt. And they did, hard. I lowered my voice, careful not to wake Lily in the back seat. She's growing up, Olivia. She understands more than we think. Some of her classmates have already said her mom doesn't want her. Maybe it's time to set some boundaries with that guy. Or better yet, replace him. Rosa made more sense anyway. Some parents can be real gossips, petty, loud, and completely without shame. One of them even had the gall to corner Lily after school the other day. "Hey, your mom's always with that Jason guy. Is he gonna be your new daddy soon?" Lily's usually easygoing. But that day, her whole face changed. "Don't say stuff like that," she snapped. I stepped in right away. "If you don't know how to shut up, don't speak at all." The woman backed off, muttering under her breath, but she left. And now, the rumors are all over the internet too. People are speculating. Spinning stories. If Olivia still goes ahead with that reality show. Can you even imagine what Lily will hear? How many whispers will follow her around? I'm an adult, I can pretend it's just showbiz, just for the cameras. But a child doesn't know how to do that. How's she supposed to feel, seeing her mom flirt on screen with another man? Olivia shot back immediately. "Everything I do is for this family. I'm building a career, making money, for you too. You think this is fun for me?" I've never denied that. It's true, Olivia's hustle has changed our lives. We're more comfortable now than we've ever been. But that doesn't mean I can sit there and feel nothing while my wife plays lover to someone else, even if it's just for the camera. I took a long breath, steadying myself before speaking again. If it's really about the money, then let me go back to work too. Lily's older now. She doesn't need round-the-clock care. We can share the load. I'd made that offer once before, back when Lily was still in preschool. I'd rehearsed the words for days. When I finally worked up the courage to suggest it, she shot it down without hesitation. She said there'd be no one to pick Lily up, that she didn't trust a nanny. That she didn't want another adult in the house, always around. She told me to wait, just until Lily started elementary school. Well, Lily's in 3rd grade now. And Olivia hasn't brought it up again. Not once. I took the rare chance, since we were finally in the same space, to bring it up again. She didn't even bother lifting her head. Just let out a scoff through her nose. "With that gap in your resume? You think anyone's hiring you after being out of work for years? I know the job market's tough. But it's not like I've been completely out of touch. In my spare time, I've been studying screenplays, watching which dramas are trending, how the market shifts. If someone just gave me the chance to write, I truly believe I could hold my own." "You won't know unless I try," I said quietly. She didn't back down. Just pivoted. "I'm not comfortable leaving our daughter with strangers. You should just talk to her. Teach her not to listen to gossip. She needs to be emotionally strong." "Strong?" She says Lily needs to be strong. Lily is 9. She's not a PR executive, not a politician. She's a kid. We're her parents, it's not her job to endure the world. It's ours to protect her from it. I looked away, afraid she might see the weakness in my eyes. It's not just Lily, I said. My voice trembled despite me. I'm hurting too. I have feelings. I'm tired of watching you and him, always together, always touching, always whispering like there's no one else around. I finally said it. What's been choking me for months? But instead of relief, I still felt like I couldn't breathe. Like nothing had moved. She sighed. Dismissive. You think it's what you imagine, but it's not. I snapped. Then what is it? I asked. You keep saying it's not what I think, but you never say what it actually is. I drew a shaky breath and said the words I'd been dreading for weeks. If you don't clear up your relationship with Jason publicly tomorrow, and if you don't start showing up to the important moments, for me and for your daughter, we're done. Divorce. I had to push the words out fast, because I knew if I paused, if I gave myself even 1 second to look into her eyes and see that familiar disappointment, I'd cave. I'd back down again. She blinked. Then laughed. Soft, bitter. You're jealous of him, she said. After everything we've been through? After all these years, this is where we end up? And then her phone rang. The screen lit up. Jason. Of course. She answered the call almost instantly. I'm coming. Stay where you are. I stared at her. I didn't get it. What kind of emergency could a grown man have that required my wife to rush to him in the middle of the night? When I didn't pull over fast enough, her tone sharpened. Jason just graduated, he doesn't know the city well. I should check on him. Perfect timing. Outside the window was the campus where we'd built our lives together. The university we shared for 4 years. I still remember another guy, tall, loud, standing on the soccer field, holding a bouquet, trying to win her over. She didn't even glance his way. She ran straight to me. Wrapped herself around me and whispered. You're the only one I want. No one else even comes close. That Olivia, the one who once looked at me like I hung the stars. She was gone. Swallowed by time. I pulled up in front of the school gate. The same gate we'd passed through every day, hand in hand. And just like that, memory came flooding back, hard and fast. Do you remember? I said quietly. We swore that one day, when we finally made it, we'd pull up to this gate in a Ferrari. We were going to take pictures. Celebrate. Prove everyone wrong, everyone who said we'd never make it, never last. But I didn't get to finish. She already had the car door open, 1 foot on the pavement. This isn't the time for nostalgia, she snapped. Then she pulled out her phone, opened the rideshare app. Olivia, I said, if you walk out that door to go to him, we're done. We get divorced. I didn't even know what leverage I had left. There was nothing I could threaten her with anymore. When we were younger, she'd pull the silent treatment. Whenever she said, I'm not talking to you, I'd always be the first to apologize. But now? I had nothing left that could hold her. She didn't even flinch. I don't agree to a divorce, she said flatly. Then got into the cab without looking back. Not once. The door shut. The taillights vanished. A rustling in the back seat. Lily had woken up. She wrapped her arms around my neck, her voice thick with sleep and something heavier. Daddy. Do you think, in Mommy's heart, the two of us together still don't matter as much as that man? I didn't have an answer. Because I honestly didn't know. Right now, I honestly don't know where I stand in Olivia's heart. How much space, if any, I still take up. But I couldn't tell Lily that. I didn't want to say anything that might make her believe her mother didn't love her. Didn't want to feed that ache, didn't want to hand her doubt wrapped in truth. And I sure as hell wasn't going to badmouth Olivia in front of her. All I've ever wanted was for Lily to feel loved. To feel wanted. Not like me. I grew up thinking I was extra, unwanted, in the way. So I smiled as best I could. That's something only your mom can answer. When she comes back, you ask her yourself, okay? Lily nodded obediently. Can you walk with me through the school a little? She was trying to cheer me up, I could see it in her eyes. Pretending it was her asking for comfort, when really she was offering it. She shouldn't have to do that. Shouldn't have to tiptoe around my mood, reading the room like a seasoned diplomat at age 9. She should be bold, carefree. Confident. But I knew exactly why she'd become so sensitive to tension. Because I was the same at her age. Right before my parents divorced, I used to do the same thing. Trying to smooth things over, say the right thing at the right time, fix what I didn't break. And I believed, deep down, that if I had just done better, been better, they wouldn't have split up. It took growing up to realize the truth. Sometimes, parents divorce not because of anything a child did or didn't do, but simply because they just can't make it work anymore. I bent down and scooped Lily into my arms. Held her close. Looked into her eyes and spoke with all the clarity I could gather. You don't need to twist yourself into knots to talk to me, okay? And whatever's going on between me and your mom, that's our stuff. It's not because of you. We'll handle it. You don't have to worry. She nodded hard, her little face serious. Whether she truly understood or not, I couldn't be sure. We walked past the old lecture halls, and just like that, college memories came rushing back. Olivia had been the one to confess first. She'd used the money from her part-time job to buy me a Lego Ferrari. A toy car, but for a broke student like me, it was one of the most thoughtful gifts I'd ever received. Back then, I was all about grades and books. I'd never even seriously considered falling in love. I first met Olivia in the campus literary club. We were doing peer reviews in a writing workshop, and the instructor had passed around one of my essays as a sample for discussion. When it got to her, she stared at the page for a few seconds, then looked up and locked eyes with me. "Who wrote this?" she asked. "It's bad enough the writing's beautiful, but the guy's good-looking too." My face flushed all the way down to my neck. I cleared my throat, trying to sound casual. "I'm Daniel." She tilted her head slightly, her eyes flickering with curiosity, like she was studying me, or maybe tasting something unexpected and intriguing. "Daniel," she said, almost like savoring the sound. "You sound like the main character in a novel." Then she added softly, "You know which part moved me the most? That bit about autumn. It felt lonely, but still full of hope." It was the first time anyone had ever picked up on the subtext in my writing. I didn't say anything back, but inside, I'd already etched her into memory. After that, she started showing up everywhere. We ended up registering for the same gen ed classes. Accidentally, stood in the same lunch line. Then deliberately sat across from me. Slowly, without either of us saying it out loud, our lives began to orbit each other. And I never once thought to resist. That Christmas, she asked me to go see the tree with her. 18-year-old Olivia stood beneath the lights, holding a bright yellow Lego shopping bag, tugging on my arm and grinning. "Come on, say yes," she said, eyes twinkling. "Date me, and I'll buy you a real car." "No, scratch that, I'll buy you something better. A Rolls-Royce. A Ferrari. The kind of car CEOs drive. I'll get you all of them." I pulled her into a hug and kissed her gently on the forehead. "Let me earn the money and buy you the car," I whispered. And I meant it. So I started writing freelance while still in college, trying to turn words into promises kept. The first few months were brutal. I couldn't even make enough to cover snacks. But I stuck with it. For 3 years. With some luck and a lot of grinding, I was pulling in close to $150,000 a year by the time I graduated. That same year, I sold the rights to one of my novels and made an additional $200,000. I used that money to build a little life with her. Our first home, our first steps as a family. After Lily was born, Olivia asked me to stop writing. She said we still had savings, that she could handle the income on her own. All I had to do was stay home and take care of our daughter. I'm not stuck in some outdated mindset. Plenty of families today have working moms and stay-at-home dads. And back then, she really was earning more than I was. So I agreed. I thought giving up my passion would mean something. That maybe she'd be grateful. But instead of appreciation, it seemed to make her look down on me. At first, she'd deposit her paycheck directly into my account. Use it however you need, she said. But as her income grew, so did her suspicion. She started questioning every expense. Wanted receipts for everything. Started demanding invoices, literal invoices, for groceries, toys, even household stuff. If a single dollar didn't add up, she'd accuse me of hiding something. Spending money on someone else. Some other woman. I hated fighting about money. So I got used to asking shopkeepers, "Can you print a receipt for this?" before even pulling out my wallet. Technically, I still held the card. But I stopped feeling like her partner. I was just the accountant. Back when I was the one sending her money, I never treated her that way. After we got together, I'd keep $500 a month for myself, and wire her the rest. It wasn't much, but I never once asked her where it went. That night, after we got home, Lily wouldn't let go of me. She knew there was no school tomorrow and begged me to stay up all night telling her stories. I held the fairy tale book, reading slowly. By the end of the first story, she was already yawning nonstop. Still, she tried to sound casual. Like it was no big deal. "If you and Mommy get divorced," she said, "I'm choosing to live with you." I tapped her forehead lightly. "Do you even know what divorce means?" "Of course I do." Her lips pouted. "My classmates' parents are divorced." She said in the last few months before it happened, her dad basically disappeared. And I haven't seen Mom in forever. So. I figure it's happening to us too. I stared at her. She wasn't wrong. And if she'd already sensed it, then maybe it was time to stop pretending. There'd come a day when we'd have to talk about it. Might as well be now. "Divorce just means Mommy and I won't live together anymore," I said softly. "But we both still love you. And we'll both still spend time with you. That won't change." I'd lived through my parents' divorce. And as a kid, it felt like the sky had caved in. I still remember the moment my mother kicked my father out of the house. After that, I only saw him on holidays, alone, briefly, and never enough. I didn't want that for Lily. She nodded at first. Then quickly shook her head like a wind-up toy set loose. "I know you love me," she said. "But Mommy doesn't. She doesn't even want to see me. She didn't even get me a birthday gift." I opened my mouth to respond. But before I could say a word, the sound of the front door slamming against the wall cut through the room like a gunshot. "Daniel. This is how you talk to our daughter about me?" Olivia stood in the doorway, not even having taken the time to change her shoes. She was still in heels, her finger pointed squarely at me, her voice shaking the walls. Lily flinched beneath the covers, startled. She stammered, trying to shield me. "That's not what he said. Daddy never says bad things about you." She was right. I'd spent more time raising Lily than Olivia had. She trusted me completely. And if I had been poisoning her against her mother? Lily wouldn't even look Olivia in the eye right now, she'd avoid her altogether. I tucked the blanket around her and brushed her cheek gently. Close your eyes, sweetheart. Mommy and I need to talk alone for a bit. But what I didn't expect was that Olivia hadn't come home alone. There, in our living room, at nearly 1 a.m. Jason sat comfortably on the sofa, legs crossed, playing a mobile game with the sound on. He didn't even look up until I walked into the room. Then, reluctantly, he lowered his leg and muttered, "Evening, Mr. Carter." My patience snapped. "You're seriously bringing another man into our house?" I didn't bother sugarcoating it. Olivia crossed her arms, unfazed. His landlord bailed on him last minute. He just needed a place to crash for the night. Even if that were true. Since when was our couch the only option? There's a hotel right across the street. Clean, safe, empty. Way more convenient than crashing here. Get the hell out. I didn't shout. I didn't need to. I pointed at the door and added, "I'll pay for your hotel tonight. Just don't let me see you here again." Then I kicked his suitcase toward him, hard. "And by the way, you're fired. If there's any penalty or severance involved, I'll cover that too." He was young, cocky, quick to react. His face darkened, and he shot to his feet. Grabbing a fistful of my collar, he hissed, "What the fuck is your problem?" Olivia stepped between us, placing a hand on his chest. "Jason," she said gently, "not tonight. He's upset. Let it go." He spat a few curses under his breath, then finally, dragged his suitcase out the door. I stood there in the silence that followed, feeling the last of my patience evaporate. And in that moment, it hit me. We weren't going to talk this out. Not anymore. Not after everything. I walked to the kitchen, opened the drawer, pulled out a folder. "Sign it." I dropped the divorce agreement on the coffee table. "Split the assets like you said. You take your half. I'll take mine. Lily stays with me. Child support, up to you. Give something or don't. I'll manage." Because I knew I could. No fancy lifestyle, sure. But I could give Lily stability. Love. Peace. She stared at the papers like they'd caught fire. Like this was the first moment she realized I wasn't bluffing. "You're doing this over Jason," she said. "There's nothing going on between us." Even now. Still clinging to that name. Jason. I couldn't stand hearing it anymore. "I don't want to know your story," I said sharply. "I'm done listening to stories." Olivia let out a long sigh. And then, like clockwork, shifted into that familiar condescension. "You've gotten too comfortable playing house. You don't understand how hard it is to get a job out there." I almost laughed. That's what she thought this was about? That I couldn't survive on my own? "I've already got a contract lined up," I said. "A company wants to work with me. If it goes well, there'll be more after that. I can handle myself." "And Lily?" She didn't respond right away. Then, after a pause, she looked me dead in the eye. "It's not you I'm worried about." Her voice softened, but not for me. "It's him. Jason's just starting out. If I fire him now, how's he supposed to survive in this industry?" And that was it. The truth. She wasn't worried about me. Wasn't worried about Lily. Not even about her marriage. All this time, she was protecting him. Jason. Again. The person she was trying to shield was never me. When she saw the disappointment flicker across my face, she added quickly, "Things are different now. You shouldn't overestimate yourself." Overestimate myself? That's how she saw it. All my plans, my quiet persistence, my attempts to rebuild. All of it boiled down to 4 words: overestimating myself. I let out a dry, bitter laugh, the corner of my mouth curling. After everything she'd said to me over the years, after all the cuts, all the dismissals, I didn't even feel angry anymore. Just numb. Maybe that's what heartbreak looks like when it finally settles in, not a scream, not a collapse, but silence. She must have realized how harsh it sounded, because she rushed to clarify. No, I just meant, don't oversimplify things. That's all. But I knew what she meant. Knew exactly. Over the past few years, even while I was home with Lily, editors and producers had reached out to me. I said no. Every time. Because Olivia was rarely home, and if I started working full-time too, Lily would be stuck in the middle, alone. I didn't want that for her. I don't need you to worry about how I'll make money, I said evenly. I can raise her just fine on my own. Then I picked up the pen and signed the divorce agreement. She stared at the paper. Her mouth opened once, twice, words catching in her throat. Finally, she said. I know I said we'd split everything 50-50, but I knew what she wasn't saying. She couldn't bring herself to say it out loud. That the money was hers. All hers. That when she made those promises back then, she never actually thought she'd earn this much. Now that she had, she didn't want to share it. Then say it, I said flatly. How do you want to split the money? We weren't partners anymore. Without love, all that was left was the math. She launched into a long monologue. About how hard the entertainment industry was. The auditions, the rejections, the sleepless nights. All the sacrifices she made. And then she finally cut to the point. I know things are hard for you right now. So, I'll give you back the $200,000 you gave me when we first got married. We don't need to talk about the rest. I hadn't even thought about asking for that money back. We'd shared a life. I didn't want to turn it into a war. If she had said she wanted to keep a bigger share, I might have considered it. Might have met her halfway. But the way she said it. Like she was doing me a favor. Like she was tossing a bone to someone beneath her. That hit differently. She was the one who cheated. She was the one who walked out. And now she wanted to look noble while cutting me out. It was more than insulting. It was cruel. You really think I'd agree to that? I said, my voice cold. Legally, marital assets are split 50-50. And you're the one at fault here. If Jason hadn't entered the picture. If she had come to me with humility, spoken gently. I might have been willing to give her a larger share. After all, she was the one who brought home most of the money. And we had a history. A life. But the way she spoke. Like I didn't matter. Like she was above me. No. Not this time. I haven't done anything wrong, she snapped. This is just about money, isn't it? You want more than your share. She smirked like she'd cracked the code. Fine, she said. If you give up custody, I'll be generous with the money. I stared at her in disbelief, then pointed at Lily's little jacket hanging by the door. Do you even know how tall your daughter is? I asked. Do you know what size clothes she wears? Her shoes? She froze. There was a long pause before she answered, voice uncertain. Maybe 3 feet? A little more? I almost laughed. She just turned 9. I measured her on her birthday, she's over 4 feet tall now. And she's outgrown her size, 13 kids' shoes. They're already too tight. I stood and turned toward the height chart taped to the wall. Every time she grows, I take a picture and send it to you. You used to call. Ask how she was doing. Then you stopped replying altogether. I turned back to her, my voice steady but sharp. If you'd read even one of my messages, you wouldn't be guessing right now. She scoffed, brushing it off. None of that matters. What matters is that I can provide for her. I can give her a better life. A real life. Can you do that? There was no shame in her eyes. Not even an ounce. Just arrogance. Like her money was the only thing that counted. She wasn't always like this. Olivia grew up in a household with 2 full-time working parents. She barely saw them. It was her grandparents who raised her day to day. Her mom and dad only showed up for holidays, like it was a box to check off. They'd take her to a department store, buy her one outfit, one pair of shoes, and then go home. That was their version of parenting. The night before she went into labor, she cried in my arms and said, "I'll never let my child grow up like I did. Never." And I believed her. I believed in that promise. I gave up my career so Lily wouldn't feel what Olivia once felt. So we could build the kind of home she never had. I thought that sacrifice would bring us closer. That it would mean something. But now? Now all I got in return was. None of that matters. I stood up. Grabbed the divorce agreement. And tore it to pieces. "If that's how you really feel," I said, voice low. "Then I'll see you in court." The paper fluttered to the floor like snow. Tiny white fragments scattered around us. Just like the relationship we'd spent a decade building. Shattered. And no way to put it back together. A few days later, Jason messaged me. Asked to meet downstairs at the cafe. I wasn't surprised. As soon as I sat down, he came out with it. "You and Olivia are really getting divorced?" I didn't look at him. Just ordered an iced Americano, took my time. Then said, "Happy now?" He blinked, startled, then fumbled with his cappuccino. Took a shaky sip. "I really do like Olivia," he admitted. I'd known that already. It was obvious. But hearing it out loud still twisted something in my gut. "So?" I asked. "If you want to take my place, don't waste time talking to me. Go figure out how to get her to marry you. Trying to provoke me won't help." My voice was calm. Detached. I wasn't going to let him see how deep the knife went. But then, unexpectedly, he broke. Jason started crying. Right there. In public. He didn't care who was watching. Didn't try to hide it. "I'm not here to gloat," he said through tears. "I'm here to tell you, you won." When you mentioned divorce, Olivia completely unraveled. She couldn't sleep. Kept asking me what she could do to fix it. How to get you back. He looked at me, genuinely confused. How could you walk away from her? Was it really just about the money? You could have stayed, lived off her income just like before. Why give that up? Live off her income. That's what he thought this was. He had no idea. Would she have been able to focus on her career if I hadn't stayed home to raise our daughter? Would she even have that career, if I hadn't been the one who helped her find her first job? If I were really after her money, I wouldn't be filing for divorce. I'd be lawyering up, quietly moving her assets under my name, bleeding her dry without ever asking for a signature. But I didn't. Even the divorce agreement had been fair, an even split. I never tried to take more than my share. Because I wasn't after her wealth. I just wanted respect. And peace. I told you before, whatever happened between Olivia and me is none of your business. I don't owe you an explanation, I said, looking him square in the eye. He was still young, fresh to the real world, and those wide, unguarded eyes of his were full of emotion. He stared back at me, voice shaking but firm. "Yes, I admit it. I like Olivia. But she's always made it clear where she stands. Even when she's drunk, the only name she ever mumbles is yours. She's been working so hard for this family. How can you be the one to talk about divorce? The way he said it, like he was the one being wronged. Like he was the one who deserved sympathy. Was almost laughable. He really stood there, hands clenched, like he was the injured party. Even if what he said was true. Even if Olivia had pushed him away again and again. They were still together all the time. Still inseparable. Whether or not they'd physically crossed the line didn't matter anymore. The damage was already done. And honestly, I didn't even believe him. They lived together, worked together, traveled together. Who could say for sure where the boundaries were? Only the two of them. I forced a smile and asked. So what is it you expect me to do? Just sit back and watch you two play house while I stay married to her? He fell silent. And then, after a pause, like he was offering some great sacrifice, he said. I'll quit. I'll even leave the industry if I have to. Just promise me you won't go through with the divorce. Poor kid. Still didn't get it. Still thought that was a card worth playing. He didn't realize I'd already folded my hand. Once, maybe, if he'd come to me at the start. If he'd said all this back when the pain was still fresh. When I was still clinging to the idea of fixing it. Maybe it would have changed something. But now? Now it was too late. What happened between them was just the symptom. The disease had been there for years. The distance. The silence. The way Olivia had become a stranger not just to me, but to her own daughter. This wasn't about Jason. Not really. It was about everything else she'd missed, everything she'd let slip through her fingers. All the birthdays. All the parent-teacher meetings. All the moments that couldn't be replaced. You think acting heartbroken now means something? I said, finally losing patience. If you really didn't want to break up our family, then maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have gotten so close to her in the first place. He grew agitated again, voice rising. Then what do you want? What'll make you change your mind? He paused. Then, desperate, added. I'll apologize. On Olivia's behalf. She's not herself right now. That was it. I didn't want to hear another word. I was done listening. Who did he think he was? What gave him the right to apologize on Olivia's behalf? Without thinking, I grabbed my iced Americano and threw it straight into his face. Cold liquid splashed across his cheek and collar. He gasped, shocked, dripping. He really thought his apology meant something. Like I was sitting here waiting for his absolution. I wasn't. Before he could react, Olivia stormed into the cafe, barreling toward us. She immediately stepped in front of Jason, arms out like a mother hen guarding her chick. Daniel. This divorce is between you and me. What are you dragging him into this for? I'm dragging him into it? I said, eyes locked on Jason. Ask him who's been blowing up my messages on social media. Ask who begged me to meet. Jason wilted under the glare. He hesitated, then stepped forward, wiping his face with the back of his sleeve. Don't be mad at Mr. Carter. It was me. I reached out. I didn't want to watch you spiral anymore. Then, dramatically, like this was some scene in a soap opera, he grabbed Olivia's arm, pulled her behind him, and pointed up at the rooftop of the building across the street. If what you said is true, if you really won't take her back, I'll go up there right now and jump. I stared at him. This boy actually thought he could guilt me into giving up my dignity? I leaned back, crossed my arms, and gave him the flattest look I could muster. If you're going to jump, then stop talking about it and go. If you really have the guts, I will keep my word. I didn't believe for a second that he'd actually do it. Kids like him always think they'd die for love, until they're staring over the edge. That's when the fear kicks in. Sure enough, Jason lurched toward the door like he was going to make good on his threat. He didn't even make it halfway before Olivia yanked him back hard. "You idiot," she snapped. "Even if you could force him to take me back, a love you have to shove down someone's throat won't last." The two of them, pulling and pushing each other in front of a packed cafe, were almost comical. This from the same woman who once begged me not to walk too close at the grocery store, afraid someone might photograph us. Now she's out here, wrestling with Jason in broad daylight without a care in the world. It made me sick. "I'm going home," I said, already standing. "You two keep putting on your show if you want. Just don't expect me to stay and watch." Olivia raised her chin slightly, eyes narrowing. "He just said all that for you, and you won't even sit for a conversation?" She glanced at Jason, who, after several silent cues, finally got the hint. He stood up awkwardly, stammering. I just remembered something. I should." I lifted a hand and cut him off. "Forget it. Stay." I dropped back into my seat, gaze steady. "Let's have it out right here. All of us. Let's finally say everything." Olivia was the first to speak. "All right, since we're all here, let's get everything on the table. My divorce from Daniel has nothing to do with you, Jason. At most, you were just the spark." Jason glanced at me, then back at her, his eyes flicking between us like he was watching a bomb about to go off. "Olivia, no, I mean, can't you two just talk like adults? For the sake of the child, at least try. Just talk it out." If he hadn't brought up Lily, maybe I could have stayed calm. But the second her name left his mouth, something snapped. "For the child?" I nearly laughed, but my voice came out louder than intended. "She doesn't even know how tall her daughter is." "What the hell do you mean, for the child?" For once, Olivia didn't rush to defend herself. That silence said more than any excuse she could have given. "You're right," she said quietly. "When it comes to Lily, I've failed. I feel that guilt every day. Just, give me a chance to make things right. Please." If she'd made even one excuse, I might have lost it completely. But this sudden softness, this rare humility, I didn't know how to respond. Jason, sensing my hesitation, jumped in. "Mr. Carter, no matter what's happened, the child is innocent. For her sake, can't you give Olivia just a little more time? She'll show you she's changed." Changed? I'd tried to talk to her. I'd sent articles, parenting videos, links from child psychologists begging moms to spend more time with their kids. And what did I get in return? No replies. No changes. Sometimes I doubted she even opened the links. And where was all this concern before? I snapped. "Lily's not a baby anymore. What are you going to do, rewind time?" Olivia pulled out her phone and opened a notes app. She handed it to me like it was a peace treaty. "Look, I made a schedule. The filming location is close to Lily's school. If there's no overtime, we can pick her up together." She kept scrolling, pointing to line after line like she was pitching a business plan. "I'll take her out at least 3 times a week, nature walks, playgrounds, anywhere outdoors. It's good for her eyes, for her." "Stop," I cut in, handing the phone back. "You're listing things I've been doing for years. These aren't extra credit, Olivia. They're your job." Jason leaned forward, voice trying to stay calm but already overstepping. "You have to understand, Mr. Carter, you're, not working." I blinked. What the hell did he just say? Not working? The words came out flat, dangerous. The apartment we lived in? I bought it. The car she drove? Mine too. I chose not to work, to stay home, to take care of our daughter, because I believed in what we were building. Because I loved them enough to sacrifice a piece of myself. I didn't stop working because I was incapable. I stopped because Olivia said she needed me to. What the hell does that mean? I snapped. You think I can't find a job? Why don't you ask her why I stayed home in the first place? Olivia, sensing the tension spike, nudged Jason hard in the ribs, silently begging him to shut up. She turned to me, softer now, more careful. I know what you've done for this family, for Lily. I've seen it. I'm not pretending I didn't. And I'm sitting here, swallowing my pride, because I genuinely want you to reconsider. This isn't just some casual decision. I need you to really think it through. But she didn't know. I had thought it through. Long before this moment. On all those nights when I lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if she'd ever come home. When Lily would ask if Mommy was coming back, and all I could say was, maybe tomorrow. Those nights made this decision for me. She kept going, her voice edging toward desperation. And since Jason's here, let me just say this, too. Whatever you think happened between us, I swear on my life, nothing physical ever did. I looked at her, really looked. And for a moment, I let myself believe she was telling the truth. But then I shook my head. You're right about one thing, I said. Jason wasn't the cause, he was the match. The real problem is, your heart's not in this home anymore. Your mind's already gone. I paused, then added, and I refuse to be some sad, lonely guy waiting by the door every night, wondering if you'll even show up. She didn't argue. She didn't need to. The message landed. She knew. This was it. Fine, she said finally. If you're set on leaving, I won't stop you. But Lily's not going with you. Of course. I expected that. And I'm not letting her go with you, I said flatly. So there's nothing left to talk about. I didn't want to keep drowning in my emotions, so I picked up a script adaptation gig from a college friend, an editor I'd collaborated with for years. The job required me to be on set, but thankfully, the production was local. Even better, it was just a few blocks from Lily's school. It felt like fate lining things up. I could work nearby, still do school pickups and drop-offs, and maybe start pulling myself back together. So I signed the contract without hesitation. What I didn't expect was this: Olivia was cast as the second female lead. No one on set knew our relationship. The assistant director, Marcus, caught me watching her from the monitor and leaned in like he was about to tell the hottest gossip of the month. Bet you anything she's sleeping with that young assistant of hers. I kept my face neutral, feigning surprise. Seriously? Marcus took a long drag from his cigarette, his smile knowing and crude. They're always bunking in the same hotel room. Come on, two grown adults sharing a bed every night. You do the math. So that's what this was. Everyone else seemed to know the truth, except me. Later, I spotted one of the housekeeping ladies tidying up Olivia's room. I ran out, bought 2 large bags of fruit, and handed them to her with a polite smile and a lie about forgetting something inside. Once she let me in, I slipped a tiny wireless camera into the button eye of a plush toy and positioned it facing the bed. That night, after the shoot wrapped, I lay in my own bed and watched the footage stream through my phone. Olivia had just come out of the shower, wrapped in nothing but a white towel, her wet hair dripping down her back. She didn't flinch at all that Jason was in the room with her. He, of course, sprang into action. Grabbing a blow dryer, he knelt beside her, gently combing through her damp hair with his fingers like he was born to do it. Maybe I should clear things up with Carter, Jason mumbled while drying her hair. I nearly laughed out loud. Clear what up? Even if they hadn't crossed the line physically, this intimacy, was already far beyond what anyone could excuse. He's not interested in explanations anymore, Olivia said, suddenly sitting up straight. He's probably just figuring out how to split the assets. Then her gaze shifted. What's that doll doing on the nightstand? Did you buy it? Jason's eyes narrowed. No. Let me check. He picked it up and examined it. His face went stiff. Shit. There's a camera in the eye. Olivia snatched it from him, cut it open with a hairpin, and peered inside. It's transmitting. Live. Then, looking directly into the lens, she said calmly, I know you're watching. If you want to talk, come do it in person. Otherwise, I'm calling the cops. She didn't flinch. Didn't panic. Not even a crack in her voice. She'd spent years in this business. She knew exactly how to perform under pressure. Since I'd already been caught, I didn't bother pretending anymore. I stood up and knocked on her hotel room door. When Olivia opened it, her expression was unreadable. Jason, on the other hand, looked like he'd just been slapped across the face, utterly stunned that I had been the one behind the hidden camera. Let's split the assets 50-50, I said flatly. But Lily stays with me. Otherwise, I'll post our marriage certificate online and expose your little affair to the world. No build-up, no polite phrasing, I laid it all out in one go. Olivia stared into my eyes like she was looking through them, searching for someone who used to be there. You always say I've changed, she murmured. But truthfully, you're not the man you used to be either. She blinked slowly, her voice quieter. Lately, I've been dreaming a lot about our college years. We were really good back then. Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded. Okay. I'll give you the house, the car, whatever. Don't misunderstand, it's not because you forced me. I just don't want Lily's quality of life to drop. She was right about that. Even adults take time to adjust after a move. For a young child, it can be disorienting, even traumatic. Lily might overthink things, worry more than she should. And anyway, if Olivia was offering it all willingly, I had no reason to refuse. Jason, ever the dutiful assistant, moved fast. Within the hour, he came back with freshly printed divorce papers based on Olivia's new terms. We both signed them. Then Jason, sensing the tension, quietly excused himself and left the two of us alone in the room. For a long while, neither of us spoke. Then Olivia broke the silence. I still love you, she said softly. I just don't know how to be with you anymore. I know raising Lily alone hasn't been easy. I've thought about stepping in, really, I have. But the first time I tried changing her diaper, you scolded me non-stop for 10 minutes straight. I felt useless at home, like no matter what I did, I'd do it wrong. The only place I ever felt competent was at work. That's where I felt I had value. I felt something shift inside me. But I kept my face cold, my tone sharper than I meant it to be. So that's your excuse for cheating? What she said, I could understand. That crushing feeling of not being enough. That desperate hunger to feel needed, to feel seen. But she could have told me. She could have yelled at me, cried, fought, anything. Instead, she chose the one thing I could never forgive. She ran away. She didn't just run away. She ran straight into someone else's arms. She told herself she wasn't good at housework, that she couldn't handle parenting. And bit by bit, she began retreating. From our home. From me. From our daughter. And when someone pulls back like that long enough, even the deepest love will eventually bleed out. Olivia's eyes were red now, her gaze misty and accusing. I only ever saw him as a younger brother, she said, almost pleading. You always had everything under control, like you didn't need me at all. She let out a strained laugh. He's clueless outside of work. He needs my help with everything. Sometimes, I look at him and... She swallowed hard. Sometimes he reminds me of who you used to be. She reached for the coffee on the table. It had gone cold, even sour, but she took a sip anyway. I always thought no matter how much we fought, we'd never actually separate. It wasn't until we signed the papers that I realized, breaking up is easy. So damn easy. Her voice turned wistful, tinged with regret. Back when we had no money, I promised I'd buy you a car, a house. And when I finally could, you wouldn't let me. You kept telling me to save, not to spend so much. I wanted to make it up to you, but you never let me. And every time I came home, Lily would always run to you first. It's like there was some invisible wall between us, keeping me out. Tears streaked down her cheeks, making her look fragile and soft. But I couldn't agree with any of it. If you really wanted to buy me something, you could have just done it. Why ask me again and again like you needed permission? I'm with Lily every day. Of course she's closer to me. And when you do come home, you don't ask about her day or what she's into, you go straight to her grades. And when they dip a little, you threaten her, tell her she'll be stuck picking through trash if she doesn't improve. Of course she's scared of you. If you've truly fallen for that kid, I wouldn't stop you. But don't stand there comparing him to me, like he somehow carries the soul of my past self. He's not me. He doesn't measure up. No matter what you say, I've never let you suffer. You had the house. The car. The diamond ring. You had everything. And you dare to say he reminds you of me? What's he ever given you, besides attention you mistook for affection? She kept insisting she still loved me. But I couldn't feel it. Couldn't see it. There wasn't a single shred of proof in her actions. I get it, she was busy. But even busy people eat, use the bathroom, check their phones. She couldn't send a one-word reply. A simple, got it? Was that too much? I never expected her to text back immediately. But an entire day, sometimes two, without a single word? How is that love? She opened her mouth, maybe to defend herself. But before she could speak, the door creaked open. Jason stepped in. Seeing that Olivia and I were still talking, Jason, usually smug and unbothered, lowered his head and mumbled. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I'll step out. I stopped him. No need. Everything's already been said. Not much left to talk about. We'd reached the end of the road. Trust, once broken, is like water spilled on pavement. There's no scooping it back. Because we were stuck working on the same production, avoiding Olivia completely was impossible. The show was an adaptation of a novel, and the author, August, was an old acquaintance of mine. The director, Ava, held the original story in high regard. Whenever something came up in the script that wasn't quite clear, she'd ask me to call August directly to clarify. Sure, I'll ask her, I agreed without hesitation. The moment I spoke, Olivia looked up from her script, eyebrows raised in visible surprise. You found a new job already? Ava glanced between us, clearly intrigued. You two know each other? Old classmates, Olivia said. Don't know her, I replied flatly. Ava raised a brow, her expression amused. I sighed and added, we went to college together. That's about it. I wouldn't go around bragging I know a big-time actress, I'm not that lucky. Ava looked like she wanted to dig deeper, but luckily, August picked up the call. The entire structure of that novel came out of our conversations, August said bluntly. So if anything's unclear, don't bother checking with me, just go with your gut. I trust your judgment. Wait. You're a woman. I nearly choked. All these years, I thought of August as one of the boys, turns out, she was a she all along. Ava chuckled. You're just now figuring that out? She's gorgeous, too. Asked me last week if you were single. I had her on speaker so Ava could hear her responses, which backfired immediately. Okay, stop right there, August interrupted, clearly flustered. You're gonna make me blush. I'll let you two get back to it. But hey, don't forget you still owe me dinner. A nice one. She hung up before I could reply. Ava smirked, clapping me on the shoulder. Not bad, man. Who knew you had connections like that? August, of all people, taking your advice? Color me impressed. Then came Olivia's voice, light, casual, but sharp with jealousy. You two seem close. I nodded without saying a word. We'd signed the divorce papers. Whatever relationships I had moving forward weren't her business anymore. As soon as Ava stepped away, Olivia grabbed my arm. I've already fired Jason, she said, her voice low and urgent. I didn't sleep at all last night. I kept thinking about us. I don't want to lose you. I let out a dry, hollow laugh. You don't want to lose me, or you don't want to lose your money? She reached up and tugged gently on her earlobe. It was a nervous tick of hers, one she always did when she felt overwhelmed. Then she looked me straight in the eye, as if summoning all her courage. If I walked away with nothing, she asked, would you believe me then? I didn't know how to answer that. For the longest time, I thought our problems were about money. But looking back now, I realized the most meaningful chapter of our relationship, our deepest bond, was when we had nothing. Those broke, reckless university years, when dreams were currency and we shared everything. Now she had what she wanted, big money, high billing, a lead role. And I'd finally achieved something too. I was in the writer's room, doing what I loved. But somehow, the closer we got to our goals, the further apart we drifted. What remained of us lived mostly in memory. No, I answered plainly. Because you'd never walk away with nothing. That wasn't an insult. It wasn't an attack on her character. It was just the truth. She loved money, not in a shallow, greedy way, but because of what it meant to her. She grew up bouncing from place to place, always feeling like she didn't belong. She never felt rooted, never felt safe. So she clung to money, not for luxury, but for security. It gave her control. It gave her peace. I motioned for her to step back. You should keep your distance. Don't let this scene damage your public image. A few crew members were already staring at us, whispering behind half-raised hands. And then, in front of everyone, she threw her arms around me. Held me tight, like I was the only solid thing in her world. I'll prove it to you, she murmured. Please, just give me another chance. I pried her arms off, one by one. No, I said. Then I turned around and walked away. I didn't look back at her pleading. I didn't acknowledge the gawking crew members, or their raised brows. She never spared me any dignity when she made her choices. So I wasn't about to give her any in return. The moment Ava called wrap for the day, Olivia grabbed my arm and pulled me straight to the lawyer's office. She transferred everything to my name, her condo, the Ferrari, even her shares in the company. I didn't stop her. Part of me wanted to see how far she'd go. Whether she'd eventually regret it. When it was done, she followed me home. That night, she sat on the living room floor with Lily, awkwardly following a braiding tutorial from her phone, trying to recreate the colorful hairstyles she'd seen online. She took Lily to the mall, came back with bags full of cartoon stickers, and let our daughter plaster them across the living room wall, and even across her car. This was the same woman who used to obsess over smudges on her windows, who used to color-code her closet like a retail display. Now, she was snapping photos of the chaotic mess and posting it to Instagram with the caption, "Evidence of love." It was disorienting. Once upon a time, this was my dream, this kind of home, this kind of moment. A family. A messy, joyful, ordinary family. But now, seeing it play out in real life, it felt counterfeit. Like a soap bubble, shiny, beautiful, and gone the second you touched it. Later that night, she gave Lily a bath, then gently patted her back as she sang a lullaby. Lily's eyes fluttered but didn't close. "Mommy," she whispered, "is this a dream? Will you disappear again when I wake up?" Olivia laughed softly, raising her hand like she was taking an oath. "I promise, baby. From now on, as long as I have time, I'll be home." Only then did Lily finally shut her eyes and fall asleep. Olivia came into the bedroom after that, slipping off her coat to reveal a lace-trimmed silk nightgown underneath. The satin clung to her curves, highlighting every graceful line. If anything, her body had become more alluring since we got married, carefully sculpted by her nutritionist and endless hours at the gym. She leaned against the doorframe, voice soft but pointed. "Say what you want, but can you really stand the thought of Lily having a stepmom?" "I can't." It had been years since we'd touched each other. And looking at her like that, confident, vulnerable, familiar, I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel anything. But I also knew the truth, there was no going back. Too much had happened. And I wasn't the kind of man who could pretend none of it did. "I can only promise you this," I said, turning my face away from hers. "I won't remarry, not until Lily's grown." It wasn't a promise for her. It was for Lily. For the little girl who still needed to believe that at least one of her parents wouldn't bring more chaos into her life. Truth was, I was terrified that another woman in the house might take even a fraction of the attention I owed my daughter. From behind me, she wrapped her arms around my waist. The softness of her body pressed against my back, and her breath warmed the base of my neck. "You know what I mean," she murmured. "If you want it, anything I have, it's yours. I swear on my life, nothing ever happened between me and Jason. I've only ever been with one man. Just you." Her voice trembled with something between hope and desperation. "Can't we just start over?" I took her hand in mine. Gently, deliberately, I pried her fingers off me one by one. "No. I'm done," I said. "I don't feel anything anymore. You can have the master bedroom. I'll take the guest room." She was still Lily's mother. I couldn't, and wouldn't, take that from her. As for me, I didn't need her anymore. But Lily did. She was almost a teenager now. She'd soon face things I couldn't teach her about, things only a mother could help her navigate. A few days later, Olivia escalated. This time, I came home to find her lying in my bed, wearing nothing but the pair of underwear I used to love most on her. I didn't say a word. Just turned around and walked out. Not because I was some paragon of virtue. But because I knew if I stayed 1 second longer, I might do something I'd regret. And she didn't deserve that power over me anymore. We still lived under the same roof. But when Lily wasn't around, we barely acknowledged each other. The difference was, this time, I was the one who had gone quiet. Before, I was the one talking, begging, explaining. Now, it was my silence that filled the space between us. The last time we spoke was at the awards ceremony. The series had done well enough that she was nominated for Best New Actress. I, for my part, had been shortlisted for Best Screenplay. Neither the lead actors nor the second male lead made the cut, so they didn't bother to show up. Which meant it was just the two of us, her, the second female lead, and me, the writer, walking arm in arm down the red carpet. As a screenwriter, I've always had an active imagination. Ever since she told me she wanted to be an actress, I'd pictured this exact moment in my head countless times. Maybe someday, I thought, I'd get to walk the red carpet with her, not as a husband sneaking around the sidelines, but as a peer, a creative partner, standing in the spotlight together. But when that moment finally came, everything had changed. We had both made it. But, we no longer existed. Her category came before mine. She didn't win. But in front of the flashing cameras, she held her head high and offered the perfect on-screen smile. "Just being nominated is already an honor," she said graciously. Of course, the reporters were circling like sharks. One of them seized the opportunity to go off script. Is it true, the rumors about you and your assistant? He's reportedly leaving the industry for good. Do you have any comment? She took the mic without flinching. There was nothing between me and Jason outside of work. I wish him all the best in whatever comes next. No drama. No slip-ups. No headlines. Just a perfectly packaged response. The camera, disappointed, cut back to the stage. The host stood at center stage, cards in hand, building the tension like a seasoned game show presenter. And now, he said dramatically, the winner of this year's Best Screenwriter Award. He paused, long enough for the suspenseful background music to kick in. I hadn't expected to feel nervous, but in that moment, my heart thudded in sync with the swelling music. It's Mr. Daniel Carter. Congratulations. There was a ripple of murmurs around the room as people leaned toward one another, whispering. First time adapting a script and he wins Best Screenwriter. This guy's got a bright future ahead. Well, he's got the chops. He used to write novels, and some of them were even optioned for adaptation. No wonder the dialogue was so sharp. He's clearly got experience. Every camera in the hall turned toward me at once. I adjusted the cuff of my dress shirt under the jacket, embraced the other nominees one by one, and walked with steady steps toward the stage amid the applause and admiring stares. I took the trophy, straightened the mic stand, and spoke. I used to think that if I ever won an award like this, I'd dedicate it to the two women I loved most in the world. But one of them has already drifted away. So now, this award goes to my daughter, Lily. Daddy will always love you. Backstage, the reporters who had been swarming around Olivia quickly shifted their focus to me. Who was the other woman you mentioned on stage? Was it your daughter's mother? I looked directly into the camera. Yes. I once wanted to give her everything I had. But she didn't cherish it. On the screen behind them, Olivia watched the live broadcast. 2 silent tears rolled down her cheeks. As I passed by, she stopped me, her voice breaking. What if she's learned to cherish it now? Could you trust her again? I gave her a faint, distant smile. No. Love that arrives too late. I don't accept it. For the first time, she completely lost her composure in front of the cameras. Her face looked more defeated than it had when she lost the award. I declined all post-award interviews and made my way up to the rooftop for some air. Olivia ignored the cameras and the buzz of whispers behind her. She chased after me anyway, breathless, standing at my side. You said if I walked away with nothing, you'd believe me. I've done it. Why still won't you give me another chance? The wine glass slipped from my hand, shattering on the rooftop floor. It can't go back to what it was. Neither can we. I thought she would leave, walk away quietly, finally letting go. But instead, she crouched down right there in her designer gown, not caring how she looked. And with trembling fingers, she began gathering the broken shards of glass. Her current assistant, Rosa, looked at the blood seeping from Olivia's hand and urged her gently, heart aching at the sight. Stop, you can't piece it back together. Olivia raised her tear-streaked face and locked eyes with me. I can. We can be like we were. But with each movement, the gashes on her hand deepened. Blood welled at her fingertips, and still, she kept trying. Rosa turned to me, exasperated, and gave me a small shove. She's still your daughter's mother. Can't you say something? Look at her hands. Who knows if they'll even heal without leaving scars? I had been ready to walk away. But at those words, your daughter's mother, I stopped in my tracks. It's no use, I said softly. Even if you glue the pieces back together, there'll still be cracks between them. She started with a soft whimper, but soon her cries grew louder, rawer, spilling out in broken sobs. I gave you the money, I let go of the guy, what else do you want from me before you'll forgive me? Even criminals get sentenced with an end date. You can't just give me life in prison. How long do I have to pay before you'll treat me like you used to? Tell me, what do I have to do to make you come back? She didn't care about appearances anymore. On the balcony of the award ceremony's after-party, in full view of the industry elite, she sobbed and begged me. Tears mixed with the fine sheen of sweat on her forehead, soaking her carefully curled bangs into wet, clumped strands. Gone was the glamorous movie star from the massive poster out front. All that remained was a woman, undone. When I still didn't answer, she suddenly dropped to her knees in front of me. Is this enough? Can you see it now? I've changed. I'm trying. I wanted to reach out, to pull her up. But I knew, touching her might give her hope I couldn't sustain. After a long pause, I still didn't extend my hand. Don't do this, I said quietly. People are watching. Around us, elegant men in tuxedos and women in floor-length gowns continued sipping wine and murmuring politely. But one by one, eyes drifted toward the balcony. Curious. Intrigued. And waiting for the next scene to unfold. I don't care, Olivia said, staring directly at me. If letting them laugh at me helps you vent, then so be it. I don't mind becoming their gossip over coffee. But I can't go back, I said, pausing for a breath. Even if I could. I'd tell myself not to say yes to you on that Christmas day. Olivia's sobs turned guttural, like something tearing from deep inside her. It took her a while to catch her breath. When she looked up again, her eyes were hollow, void of light. She fumbled along the floor for a while before picking up a large shard of glass. And slashed it across her own skin. So even dating me was a regret? The blood seeped into the carpet, staining it a deep, dark red. I lunged forward and snatched the shard from her trembling fingers. That's enough. I shouted. I don't want our daughter to grow up without a mother. Rosa and I rushed her to the hospital. The cut wasn't big, but it was deep. The good news, her life wasn't in danger. The bad news, the scar might stay with her forever. In this industry, news travels fast. By morning, everyone was buzzing about Olivia's desperate act to win back her ex. Rosa handed me a bank card. There's $1 million on here. Just post a statement, that's all. I'm not posting anything. I tossed the card aside. I saved her because she's my kid's mother. Nothing more. I owe her no image management. She nearly died, and you still won't forgive me? Olivia had woken up at some point, her voice faint but piercing. What do you want me to do? She asked. Tell me, what will ever be enough to make things right? I let out a quiet laugh, exhausted. There's no way to make it right. And you don't need to try anymore. I just want you to live. Stay alive, for our daughter. Worried she might misunderstand, I clarified, firmly. I'll only ever see you as her mother. You gave me all the money you earned over the years. So let's call it even. From now on, we owe each other nothing. I walked out of the hospital room. Behind me, Olivia seemed to still be saying something, maybe calling after me. But I didn't turn back. I didn't want to hear another word. I didn't want to be drawn back into that mess. From this moment on, I would only look forward. No more turning back.